everybody, and welcome to the Scouting Report. I'm Dan Hayek here with Matt Doyle, and today we're previewing the Western Conference battle between FC Dallas and the LA Galaxy. Matt, despite the fact that they are leading the way in the Western Conference, Dallas to me seems like they're still searching for their identity. They played a little 4-4-2 in the beginning. Now they seem to be playing a little more 4-5-1. Against Toronto last week, we saw Blas Perez play up top by himself, Kenny Cooper out wide right. Do you expect to see something similar? Perez alone up top again against the Galaxy?
I think at this point they've had to scrap the 4-4-2. Shelly was very clear in the preseason he wanted to go to a diamond with David Ferreira at the tip of it and a true D-mid behind him, but they don't have a true D-mid on the roster. So they've had to go with that 4-2-3-1 look. I don't think Cooper is going to spend a whole lot of time out there. I just think Fabian Castillo and Jackson have been too good, and having those guys out wide with their speed and their 1-versus-1 ability has been such an integral part of the Dallas game plan. You have to go with that. Cooper is going to end up being a bench weapon, and it's worth noting with Jackson and Castillo, not only do they take you on 1-versus-1 a lot, they win a lot of those battles, and they actually have more 1-versus-1 take-ons combined, the two of them, than the Galaxy do as a team.
Wow.
So it's a real contrast in styles.
Of course, unfortunately, Matt, for the Galaxy, they couldn't get the result they needed in Monterrey, which means they come into this one on a downer, losing in the semifinal. What does that do to their mindset coming into the game against Dallas?
Well, we saw what it did last year when they lost against Toronto FC in the quarterfinals. It was brutal for LA for about a month, maybe even longer after that series. They were kind of aimless. Nobody was really standing up to take responsibility. Well, they all have to stand up and take responsibility now. Obviously, it starts with Robbie Keane and Landon Donovan, I guess the co-captains, if you want to look at it like that. But Omar Gonzalez, Juninho, Todd Donovan, Marcelo Sarva, these are guys who have been in the battles as professionals for a long time now. They're not a young team anymore. And that spine needs to come together and say, we have to go to work week after week after week. And that has to translate to kids like Jose Villarreal or Jack McBean. The young guys who have been so impressive for the Galaxy so far. They need to be able to follow that lead set by that example set by the veterans.
Switching back to Dallas now, David Ferreira, we all know how important he is. He won the 2010 MLS MVP for a reason. But let's talk about the guys sitting behind him instead of Ferreira. Michel and Andrew Jacobson have had big years so far. Talk about their importance to this Dallas side.
Well, they obviously have really transformed the way Dallas can play because both of them switch the field so well. Michel, in particular, his left foot is very, very sweet. And it provides a bunch of different looks for Dallas going forward. You can't overload one side. You have trouble winning the ball on the flanks from them. The problem with these guys, though, is that neither one is really a ball winner themselves. They don't do a very good job of that, and they don't protect the back line particularly well. Luis Silva, when he came on for TFC last weekend, he really tore them to shreds. And Jacobson and Michel couldn't figure out who was supposed to go where, and their organization suffered as a result. Part of that had to do with George John being out in the second half as well. But it's still a work in progress for Dallas on both sides of the ball. There's a lot of positives to take from them, but there are gaps to exploit, and if there's one guy in the league who you would expect to work between the lines and exploit those gaps, it's Robbie Keane. So they'll just have to keep really good track of him, hope that they don't get hit from angles, hope that the Galaxy have kind of a down day.
All right, well, we want to hear your predictions, so please leave them in the comments below. This one takes place on Saturday. It kicks off at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and you can watch it on NBC Sports Network.